Hey folks, Jamie Stokes from Royal LePage Frank again. I'm doing a video today on the housing market. Again, I did one not too long ago, but I wanted to do another. Basically, we're having a housing market crash. I don't know if you're not seeing it, your eyes aren't open. I mean, the banks and different companies are coming out, different institutions, and they're saying that mortgages could be up by 50% next year. We're up for in, I think, September, August or September. We're in for another mortgage rate increase. It's coming. Sales are, the prices are really coming down by the hundreds of thousands. We had it good for a little while if we were homeowners or if we had the money to buy. Lending rates were really low. So everybody was going out and spending crazy money on housing. Now we're at a point where mortgage rates are going up so much. Our mortgage stress tests here were not designed to come up with, to take into consideration, you know, uh, extra extra amounts like what we're facing right now. So we're coming up where our mortgage payments are, 1%. We're at a total of 2.5% right now. It's went up 1%. It's gone up, three or four times now. It's coming up again. Housing prices are dropping. I mean, it's incredible actually at the pace that they're dropping. I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can have $100,000 in the matter of a week. No problem on a six or $700,000 house, which that doesn't buy you much necessarily in the GTA. Durham region, it'll buy you probably nothing in Toronto. Even building lots cost more than that. So the rate at which things are dropping, BMO came out. I think they said expect to pay 50% more on your mortgages. The Bank of Canada is saying stuff. Mortgage agents are saying stuff. But you realtors, you guys are sticking to your guns, aren't you? I'm in real estate myself. I'm a realtor, but I mean, let's face things. We don't want to, or I'm not going to go out there and I'm not going to say you guys need to sell right now. Call me up. We can sell your property for top dollar. I'm not going to say that. I don't like to tell people when they should and shouldn't sell their homes. It's up to them, their financial obligations, their financial situation, jobs, income, whatever. People have different reasons for selling, but the housing market is crashing. Anybody who says that it's not is full of it, and we're seeing things dropping so fast now. They're dropping at a faster rate than which they were gaining recently in recent months prior to things starting to slow down and then dropping. I mean, the housing market here, somebody said that we're coming in for, I don't know if it was CMHC or somebody else, but they said that we're coming in for a historical market correction. And I think they're bang on. Realtors, a lot of you guys don't like to admit things. A lot of the time in my videos, I rant on about different things. I get a little bit carried away about things that, in my opinion, are kind of related. I said in a previous video that the older realtors, I've been in real estate myself since 2015. We're in 2022 now, so it's been a few years. If you've made it past 3 years in real estate, they say that's the cutoff. You either quit or you stick with it after 3 years. So I think I've made the cut. I've met a lot of great people, but a lot of realtors, I notice for some reason, they don't see what's going on, or they don't look into the future. They take things how they are right now, and you can't do that. Real estate is a long-term investment, and you guys need to get your shit together for real. Um, it's not what a lot of you are saying that it is. Things are dropping. I mean, they're dropping at an unprecedented rate. And really, you need to tell your buyers and sellers this. Let's not be naive to what's going on here. You're not doing anybody any favor by telling them that things aren't what they actually are. So let's get on board here and let's tell things how they are. Real estate in the GTA is tanking. It's bad. Yes, it's still pretty unaffordable, but we are looking at a massive correction here. So my question is, like I've said in a previous video, I slowed down my business for a little bit. I had a lot of stuff going on, and I actually had concerns. This might sound a bit crazy, but I have concerns. I mean, realtors, we get blamed for absolutely everything. Oh, house prices are high. It's those bloody realtors. Our mortgage didn't get accepted. It's because the realtors. We can't close. It's because the realtors are greedy. House prices, realtors are greedy. They're the ones jacking up the house prices. Well, guess what, folks? We're not jacking up nothing. It's the market. That's what the market value of properties are. We're required to sell them at market value. And I don't determine the cost at what somebody puts an offer in on that property. If there's a housing shortage, of course people are going to be fighting and putting offers on it. I mean, come on, let's be realistic here. The housing market determines price. How many houses are on the market, the area, all kinds of things. How old the house is, renovations that have been done, how scarce houses are in certain neighborhoods, things like that. Those things all play a factor into determining house prices. Realtors, we have absolutely nothing to do with the price. We're going to get you more money for your house, sure, if we do our job. We're hired to market your property, to get it staged if you guys are on board with that, to really show the value of the house. I'm not, if I can convince my sellers to stage, if I can convince them to do some upgrades, not everybody wants to do that. So they're going to lose out money when they sell their home. But, blaming realtors because commissions are what they are. Do you guys complain? If Walmart, they're talking about inflation. Oh, 5, 6, 8% inflation. Well, that's nonsense. We know that rent is continuing to go up. House prices, what bought you $100 last year, cost you $300 now. So let's not be naive here. Do you guys? I mean, yeah, you're complaining about the cost of everything pretty much, but you got no problem going out and spending $80,000 or $100,000 on a car when you can buy one for 30 or 40. I don't see you guys complaining about that. But realtor commissions, I don't see you guys complaining. You've had the house for 10 years and you made $800,000 profit off of it, but you got to pay out 30 grand in commissions. Like, whoop-de-doo, everything that comes up in real estate, it's always changing. If you guys, it's not realtors that are greedy, okay? So let's get over that. We're not. You can negotiate your commissions if you like. I've done it before. I feel realtor commissions are high? Yeah, but you guys don't know what our costs are. I've gone into videos before talking about our costs, and you guys have absolutely zero clue how many thousands we pay every single transaction. We don't get health or dental benefits. We don't get, free mileage. We don't get free anything. Every single thing that we do costs us money, and we pay out of pocket for it. And yeah, you know what? It's great. If I was selling a house once a week or whatever, I'd be rolling in money. I wouldn't even have to discuss this really, because I'd be like, oh, I did this and I did this and I did that. But that's not the case. Like, the average realtor, as I've said in previous videos, sells just a couple houses a year. I think 52%, the last statistic I looked at, and I don't even know if it was accurate, but I'm going to assume that it is. 52% of realtors do 1 or 2 deals per year. That's it. That's enough to cover their fees, probably. So when you guys complain about realtor commissions, there are so many different businesses that you have to pay out that work on commissions and stuff like that. And I don't think you guys are ripping these guys apart who, because of how everything's going up, their commissions have also gone up. In the news, in the media, we constantly get torn to shreds, and it's kind of ridiculous. You guys aren't looking at the whole picture here. I find a lot of people who have used realtors will absolutely praise us. Best decision I ever made. When you're dealing with hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in real estate, do you want to really go on, grab a pack of crayons and sit down with some construction paper and write out a contract? You've got no idea what you're doing. We've gone to school for it. I take additional courses, and it's just, you can end up costing yourself hundreds of thousands of dollars by not by not putting in the right clauses or looking for the right things in some of the paperwork, you know? So, anyways, that's a little rant about you guys ripping us a new one every time there's some sort of issue that goes on. Not all realtors are greedy. I'm not. You can talk to any of my past clients. I don't try and sell them anything extra or charge them anything extra. I'm usually flexible in my commission and I work with people. I understand realtor commissions are high. Some of us get paid more than we should, absolutely. But for the majority of us, I don't think so at all. And there's a lot of liability on our part as well. But this housing, um, I'm going to call it a correction. It's the rate at which things are dropping is phenomenal. It can be a month and places will drop hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's happening right now. If you're not seeing it, your eyes are closed. If you're in real estate, let's get the truth here and talk about it. You're not doing anybody any service by telling them that, oh, prices are still good. And these realtors that are, excuse me, these realtors that are telling their clients, yeah, we can get the same price as what was going on a couple months ago. No, you can't. You're lying. Straight up, you're lying. So the market determines the price. If the market's gone down 20%, guess what? You're getting 20% less than you were several months ago. If the market's gone up, you're going to get, the market value at that point. But I'm seeing a lot of realtors discuss in private groups about they're putting in offers on houses that have been on the market for weeks or months. It shouldn't take that long to sell your house. The last house I sold in exactly 7 days because I held offers on it and I got multiple offers on it. And I don't like to say that at the same time because I feel it's kind of bragging, but it seems to be that when you brag about how good of a job you did, sold over asking was another one that I did a video on. Let's get rid of these sold over asking signs. It's not helping anything. If you list your listing for 200,000 or 100,000 under market value, oh, you did such a wonderful job. Of course you got over asking because you listed it for less than it was worth. So let's get over that. Get rid of the sold over asking signs. I'm still seeing them. They're outdated. Get rid of them. You're not doing a service to anybody bragging about what a wonderful job you did because you didn't do your job properly. In fact, you underlisted the house and you're bragging about it. Like, that shows me that you don't know how to set a proper list price for a house. You don't know the value of it. I know some of you guys are going to rip me to shreds for saying that because there's top agents that are still using it. There's no need to use those. Your work shows your value and shows what you've done, what you've accomplished, and how good of a job you've done. Why don't you ask your sellers if you've done a good job? They'll be the ones to leave you a review and say, you were patient, you were kind, you did an excellent job. You don't need to go and brag about yourself. It's pointless. Housing market, it's dying. There's so much going on right now, and it's not contained to one area. I know, the rate at which things are dropping is just incredible. There is a housing correction happening, and it's not going to be a month or 2 months. The older agents, yeah, you guys, you have the experience. You've been through, the last time mortgage rates went up super high back in the 80s. But this is, as I've said before in past videos, this is a different case, man. These aren't where you're making, $30,000 or $40,000 a year and houses are $100,000. And, if you didn't have any additional expenses, you could pay it off in 3 years. That's not the case anymore. People are making very little money. Employment is not steady like it used to be. People are getting laid off. I feel like we're kind of in the middle of a revolution right now with work. People are absolutely tired of working crazy hours, getting underpaid. Companies are bragging about profits in the billions while their employees can't even afford to pay their rent and buy groceries. That's why we're seeing this. So many job vacancies. Why would somebody go to work and work 40, 50 hours a week, spend all of their time doing that, and then when they come home at the end of the day, they can't, they got a stack of bills there and they can't even pay them. It's not worth it. Start paying your employees and they'll stay with you. In history, there's been multiple companies that have paid out to their employees profits, and these employees stick around for years. There's no such thing as, for the most part, as matching like RRSPs or having benefits. You know, they'll make you work 80 hours a week and they won't give you any medical or dental, and you guys are just taking advantage of the general public. Excuse me. I know that costs to run business have increased. Everybody's felt that, and I understand it's affected smaller businesses even more. This minimum wage stuff is nonsense. It needs to be gone, and wages need to be increased to a level where people can actually survive. I think the statistic for people in Toronto, a single person in Toronto, I'm not talking about renting a fancy place. I'm talking about working an okay job and, being able to live what they say is comfortably. The income needs to be at least 80K a year, I believe, 82 maybe, something like that. But you have people that are making $30,000, $40,000 a year and don't get ignorant and say, well, they need to find another job, because you know what? It's not always that easy for people. So let's not go there. People are working at certain places. Maybe they don't have the education or the experience or whatever. Sure, yeah, they're going to stop working so that they can go and get an education and get a better job. These other jobs where they discussed, you need 5 years experience to start, but we're going to start you off at minimum wage, or at a beginner's pay. Well, if you don't have experience, nobody's willing to hire you. For starters, they want minimum 5 years experience, and they're going to pay you wages where you can't afford to live off of. So what's the point? So for the general public out there that are watching this, there is a housing correction going on. If you have a realtor that shows you statistics that are even recent, don't expect to get those prices, because stuff is just dropping right down. And it's going to continue that way for a little while until we get to our correction. We're talking a correction in hundreds of thousands of dollars, in my opinion. And like I said, most other realtors aren't going to, they're not going to admit that. They're not going to say that. They're going to tell you to get your listing. They're going to tell you, oh, I can get you more than what the market value is. No, you can't, because realtors aren't stupid. The general public's not stupid. If you fall for that, I'm going to promise you this is exactly what's going to happen. You're going to list with them. They're going to put it above market value. The other realtors are going to see it. You might get a couple of trickle showings, here and there, the odd showing. It's going to sit on the market. You're not going to get any offers for it. Even if you hold offers or you don't hold offers, doesn't make a difference. You're not going to get any offers on it because it's overpriced, and everybody knows that. So the realtors can see what the comps are. They know at the rate at which things are dropping, and that's how it is. The public knows how things are dropping, or you guys should, because you're educated now. You have some of the same resources that realtors do. So the market's dropping, and if there's a realtor that comes in and for a listing appointment, you're interviewing multiple realtors, and they're like, oh, yeah, I can get you, $100,000 over market value. No, they can't. Like, they're flat out lying to you, and you guys keep buying this from them. It's a shame, because like I said, I promise you this is what's going to happen. They're going to list your house. It's going to sit on the market, no offers. They're going to have to try and get a price reduction out of you. Even though they promised you, I can get you more than everybody else, there's going to be a price reduction. It's going to sit longer. You might get a couple more showings, but it's been on the market for so long that everybody's like, why has this been on the market for so long? There's obviously some defect in the house, and I'm afraid to put an offer in on it now. And the sellers, because they've been duped into listing with this agent who's promised them the world. I can get you more than everybody else. There's going to be price reductions, and it's not going to sell. So when it does sell, there's going to have to be typically 2 price reductions before it sells, and everybody's going to think that there's something wrong with it, why it's been on the market for so long. It's going to come back to bite you in the rear. I promise you that. I've seen it time and time and time again. It's always the case. These realtors come in there just to get the listing. They flat out lie to your face and tell you, I'm going to get you more than everybody else can. I mean, tell them to show you on their stats where they can get you more than everybody else can, and you need to take into consideration what the market value of things are right now while it's in a dropping market. It's switching from a a seller's market. We're not quite, in my opinion, we're not quite in a buyer's market. What I would consider a buyer's market may not be what everybody else does. We're not, I still don't feel that things are necessarily in the buyer's favor. Yeah, they're getting there, but they're not quite there. And why I say that is because of affordability. I mean, there's a little bit of negotiations going on. And for some agents, I keep seeing you guys talk about this in many of the groups, our private groups. You guys are talking about how you put in an offer at fair market value with comps to show how you arrived at that offer price. And the listing agent's like, no, you need to come up $100,000 more, even though your documents that you've provided to the listing agent show that that's where the market's at right now. It's like, no, my sellers want this for it. Well, that's nice, but you don't get whatever price you want for it. You go by what the market value is, and that's just how real estate works. So you're not going to sell your house. The listing agent's just wasted probably months of his time, trying to promote this place because he wasn't upfront and honest right from the start, telling them this is what you need to expect. So when I go in for listing appointment, I talk to people, I show them market comps, all the houses in the neighborhood, in the area that are similar, that have sold, what they've sold for, how many days it took for them to sell, things like that. This is all relevant and important information. You guys, when you have a listing appointment with an agent, they need to tell you all of these things here, and they need to set real expectations with you, where you're not expecting $100,000 or $200,000 over market value, because that's unrealistic. Yeah, there's probably some wiggle room there, but there's not a crazy amount of inventory on the market. I know condos have dropped quite a bit, and rents keep increasing, but the housing market is changing. It has changed. It's going to continue to change for a little while, and this isn't going to be, just a summer thing or something like that. I think this is going to last a little bit longer. When it does come to the older generation of realtors, I'm not going to say these guys are necessarily stuck in their ways. There's some that are pretty keep up with the times. They've got experience, writing offers. When markets change, I notice there seems to be a lot of new clauses invented. So the clauses are the kind of the terms of the agreement. I want a home inspection. It's conditional on financing, whatever the clause may be. When the market changes, there always seems to be, especially when it changes radically, there always seems to be some agents who come out with these radical clauses that are just like, I don't know where this came from. It's not in plain terms, and it's like, it's like this long on the page. You got 4 inches or 6 inches in it for one clause, which is just absurd. Narrow it down, get to the point, and make it easily understandable for all parties, including the buyers, the sellers, everybody, so everybody knows what's going on. Put it in layman's terms. It doesn't need to be complicated, but make sure you hold your agent accountable. If your agent that you've hired hasn't had to talk with you about realistic expectations when buying or selling, if the place is sitting on the market, I would hold them accountable. If they're telling you that they can get more than any other agent out there, I would ask them, once it's been sitting on the market a while, I would say, you told me that you could get this amount for it. I have no problem explaining that, because before I list with somebody, and I lose listings because of this, because I'm upfront and I tell them, we can only go by what the market stats are, and we need to have realistic expectations. So when I deal with somebody, I typically tell them, you're looking in this price point where it's probably going to sell. Do I know for sure? No, but I have a pretty good educated guess based on my experience in real estate and based on market statistics. So hold your agent accountable. I have the conversation, like I said, where I set their expectations pretty low. That way they're not shocked or surprised. Shocks or surprises come pretty rarely, because I let them know that they're probably not going to get, something that's unrealistic. Everybody's aware the housing market's being corrected, and it's happening at an unprecedented rate right now. Yes, we've had market crashes in the past before. Yes, we've had high interest rates, which are really impacting things, and it's going to keep going up. So we're calling for another mortgage rate increase. Um, that's going to happen a few more times, I'm pretty sure. These old school agents, they say, well, we've had that in the '80s and we survived it. We made do. It, you know, but like I said, this isn't the '80s, man. This is we're in 2022. So your comparison of the '80s just shows that you're kind of stuck in the past. You're not looking at the whole picture here, and you're not up to date with things. So get with the times and realize people have lower incomes. The mortgage stress test was not designed to take into account the increases for mortgages that we're seeing. So people are struggling. They're going to get worse off, and it's going to come to the point where people are going to start losing their houses. When that happens, it's going to go, probably even faster downhill at that point. Investors might be snapping stuff up, but it's happening. Don't be naive. Don't try and fool yourself. If you're an agent, be honest about it. Let's not lie to the public here and say that this isn't this is only going to last a month or during the summer or whatever. I'd be shocked if it only lasted the summer. We're almost August now. We're at the end of July. It's July 29th, July 30th. It's 29th, but it's early in the morning, so we'll call it the 29th because it hasn't rolled over and I haven't gone to bed yet. So we'll just call it the 29th. Technically, it's the 30th because it's early in the morning. But it is what it is. Be honest, be upfront, and let's talk about this housing crash. That's what it is. It's a housing crash. It's a market correction. It's a crash. Stuff is really falling, and it's going to continue to do so for at least a little while. And let's not try and fool anybody about it. We're going to see some really tough times coming up with everything around the world that's going on, and the housing market with wages. There's no job security. So let's see what plays out here. I can tell you already. Like I've said before, I'm not Nostradamus, and I don't pretend to know everything. I do think I know, enough to make videos about it. But honesty is the best policy. If you're not being honest with people, or you're not being honest with yourself, you're going to be called out on that. So the housing market is crashing. It's going to continue to crash, and it's going to get worse. Watch and see. Jamie Stokes from Real Page Frank. If you're looking to buy or sell, or you have real estate questions, call me directly, 289-927-5991. Take care for now.